What's going on, guys? Welcome to IMV Sports and welcome to part 4 of my NHL Season Preview. Now today, the last division, the Metropolitan Division, one of the strongest divisions in the NHL. I just really quickly wanted to say, I know I said before I was going to do 5 videos and like the 5th one just being an all-around discussion about like some awards, favorites. Unfortunately, with me getting a late start on the videos because I wasn't feeling too well about a week ago, I'm not going to be able to do that video. But I feel like just doing the 4 divisions, I covered most of what I wanted to do and previewed about as much as I wanted to. So I do apologize about that if some of you guys were looking forward to that. But the season starts tomorrow, guys, so I can't believe it's already here. I'm super pumped up about it. I'm a diehard Pittsburgh Penguins fan, so getting knocked out in the second round last year was rough, but I'm really excited for the season to start, and just for every team in general. I love hockey. I'm ready for it. I'm super pumped up, so really excited, and let's just get into this video. The Metropolitan Division, guys, let's go. First team, the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, the Carolina Hurricanes made some moves during the offseason. Most notably, they trade Noah Hanifin and Elias Lindholm to the Calgary Flames. They do get Dougie Hamilton and Michael Furland in return. They lose that trade, in my opinion. Noah Hanifin is a future star, a future star defenseman, if not already a star defenseman on that team. So they lose him. Lindholm's also a pretty good player. Yeah, they get Dougie Hamilton, but the return wasn't worth losing Hanifin, in my opinion. Another move they made, they trade Jeff Skinner, who Jeff Skinner was not only a fan favorite there, but a very strong forward who brought a lot of scoring to that offensive core with the Carolina Hurricanes. They traded him to the Sabres. So they do get Peter Mrazek, a goalie, and Calvin DeHaan, a defenseman, a decent defenseman, played all of his career just about with the Islanders so far. He's a pretty decent defenseman, and they do lose Cam Ward, longtime goaltender Cam Ward. A lot of fans are really sad to see him go, but he is getting older. His production is declining a bit, so that's that. Some players to watch for me, obviously. Sebastian Aho, gotta watch out for him. He's a star young player, very, very good, very quick, one of the fastest guys in the league, and his finesse, the moves he makes, the plays he makes on the puck are unbelievable. Also, watching out for Andrei Svechnikov, I guess that's how you pronounce it. Svechnikov. He was the guy they drafted in the draft this past year in the first round. They have a lot of hope for him. Think he's going to break out, have an amazing rookie season. I think he will too, so watch out for him. And another young guy, Valentin Zykov, has been up and down with their minor league team in the AHL, the Charlotte Checkers. But he blew it up last year with them, guys. Absolutely blew up his numbers. And I think he starts full-time for the Carolina Hurricanes this year and puts up some great numbers. So watch out for him. MVP for me is Justin Falk, one of the best defensemen in the league. Top 10 defenseman in the league, in my opinion. Moving on, we got the Columbus Blue Jackets. Guys, the Columbus Blue Jackets, they lost some players. They lose Ian Cole, who they just had for a little bit there in the season, but still a really good, pretty good defenseman. They lose him. They lose Jack Johnson, who's been with them for a while now. They lose him. They lose Thomas Vanek, who they took a chance on, and it paid off. He put up a lot of some pretty good numbers last year with Columbus. Was good in their short-lived playoff run. But, yeah, they lose him. They do get Riley Nash, a pretty decent player. They get Anthony Duclair. They won the lottery on him. I know Anthony Duclair is one of those young guys who people have been building a lot of hype around, saying where is he going to go. And the Columbus wins that lottery on him, and they're going to see if it pays off for them. So some players to watch is Duclair, and also Pierre-Luc Dubois had 20 goals last year. No sophomore slump for me for Dubois. He's a good player. Looks like he has a lot of promise to his game. I think he has another very good season. And Zach Werenski, one of the better young defensemen in this league. You got to watch out for him, too. He plays with 110% every game. Hard-hitting defenseman. A hell of a slap shot. And he's very good on the power play, too, which makes him so special. MVP for me, I'm going to go with Cam Atkinson. I know it's tough, but with things with Panarin right now, we don't know what's really going on with that. I don't know if his head's all there right now, but so we'll see. But Cam Atkinson, my MVP. Moving on, the New Jersey Devils obviously had a great turnaround season last year. Taylor Hall had a hell of a season last year, winning the Hart Trophy for MVP. They do lose Michael Grabner, a veteran forward who brings a lot of goal scoring and some speed to that forward. They lose him. They lose Brian Gibbons, who out of nowhere, put up some pretty good numbers with the Devils last year. He goes to the Anaheim Ducks. They also lose Patrick Maroon, who they had for a little bit there, getting him in a trade from the Oilers last year, but they lose him as well. They do get Eric Gryba, a veteran defenseman, come in, try to shore up that defense a little bit, kind of be that veteran leader, possibly. Players to watch, Will Butcher and Nico Hischier, right off the bat, 2 rookies last year who put up amazing numbers. Hischier, I think, will have another very good season. I think he'll do better. No sophomore slump either for me, for him, or Will Butcher. I think they both will produce better than they did last year. And also Pavel Zacha. I know he hasn't put up great numbers yet, but this is a season for him where he has to go out and show what his worth is to the New Jersey Devils. So we'll see. I think maybe he does that this year. I think he gets him maybe 15 goals or so. So we'll see. An MVP, who else but Taylor Hall, obviously, right? So that's for me for the Devils, guys. Moving on, the New York Islanders, obviously, top story, losing John Tavares. Heartbreaking for that team and their fan base. A guy that's been their captain, been their leader, been their top goals, I don't know statistically their top goal scorer, but just their leader all around. They lose him. He goes to the Maple Leafs, obviously, like we all know. So that's tough. They also lose Yaroslav Halak, who was declining also, but with his production, like I said about Cam Ward, another goalie declining. They lose DeHaan. Like I said, he went to the Hurricanes, too. That was a young defenseman that showed some good signs, so they lose him. They do go out and get a couple guys. They get Valtteri Filppula from the Flyers, Leo Komarov. They get Tom Kuhnhackl, a young forward from the Penguins that was a part of their Stanley Cup runs. They also get Robin Lehner. Maybe he can refine his goalie game, and obviously with the Sabres, he had some moments where he expressed his opinions on not being very happy with the management, the coaching, and all that there. So maybe he'll refine his game. He always had some promise to him. We'll see if in the Islanders he can refine his game a little bit if he gets a shot. And also Lucas Spiza, who played with Vegas last year, another defenseman, veteran defenseman, looking to shore up their core back there. Some players to watch for me, Anthony Beauvillier. Got to watch out for this young kid. He's really dynamic. He's quick. He's always in and around the net. I like him a lot, so watch out for him. And Adam Pelech, a defenseman, they're hoping can bring a lot. Obviously, when you lose John Tavares, a guy like that, you start looking around in the locker room like, who's going to step up for us? Who can step up now that a guy like that walks out the door? Pelech is one of those younger guys that they're looking at now like, are you going to step up? Or are you, So I think he will step up this year. MVP for me is going to be Matt Barzal. I think this kid honestly could be a captain for this team in the next 2 years. He just already showing that leadership quality. Obviously, we could see what he could do with the puck. His shot's unbelievable. He's so quick. He's so strong in the puck. So we'll see what type of season he has this year. If he has a sophomore slump, I don't think so. I think he scores 30 goals. I think he may even score 40 goals. We'll see. But Barzal, MVP for me. Moving on to the New York Rangers, guys. New York Rangers are looking like they might be going through a rebuild right now. We'll see. They go out. They don't make a lot of moves. They get Adam McQuaid, another one of these teams. Obviously looks like a trend right now in the Metro so far. Getting some veteran defensemen to bring some veteran leadership to that core. So we'll see how that works out for him. I mean, Adam McQuaid's a big body guy. He's a guy you'd like to have on your team for the right price. So they go out, they get him. They do lose David Desharnais, one of the veteran guys on that team. Obviously, they didn't do too much this offseason. Some players to watch for me, Pavel Buchnevich. Obviously, we've seen what he can do already. We'll see if he can keep doing that. I think he will. I think he might lead the team in offensive statistics this year when it comes to goals and assists. We'll see what happens with that. Nemesnikov, too, they get in that trade last year, obviously, with involving Ryan McDonough. They got him from Tampa. We'll see what he can do. I think he'll bring a lot of goal scoring, and I think he could provide a lot of assist to that power play for the New York Rangers. If he gets a shot on that first power play unit, I think he should. I think he can be a very good player on that power play for the New York Rangers. And also Jesper Fast, another one of those young guys. He's very fast. No pun intended there, but he is a good, quick player. Who the Rangers are looking around seeing what he could do. They want him to show his worth this season. Let's see if he can, because he was always scouted as a goal scorer. We'll see if that goal scoring ability really shows up this year for Jesper Fast. MVP for me is going to be Henrik Lundqvist. It's a shame he's getting a little older. He's not really declining, but the defense and everything in the Rangers is just all going downhill as a whole. So moving on, guys, to the Philadelphia Flyers. The Philadelphia Flyers, a little bit of extracurricular stuff I'm going to talk about with them as well. But they go out, they get JVR, they bring JVR back. He was spent last couple years with Toronto in that horrendous trade from a couple years ago when they traded him for Luke Shen, arguably one of the worst trades in the last probably 10 years or so in the NHL history. I mean, really, that's like top 3 worst trades. It was horrible. But makes some fans happy. They bring him back. A little too expensive for me. But like I said in one of my earlier videos, I think when I discussed the Pacific Division and James Neal, you got to spend a lot of money now. That's the thing. Yeah, I think what the contract length and the money they gave him is a little too much, but that's how you got to be. If you really want a player, you got to overspend. That's just how it is. Otherwise, another team will. And then if another team overspends and he has a breakout season, you're going to be the ones looking stupid thinking, man, well, I knew we should have just given him this money. They do get Christian Folin, too, from the LA Kings. Not a lot of people know about this guy, but he's a very big, hard-hitting defenseman. He did really well last year with the LA Kings, and I think it's a good fit for the Flyers because it looks like they're looking to bring back some of that big stay-at-home defenseman guys, and they do have a couple of offensive-minded defensemen like Shane Gostisbehere, for example. So they do lose Valtteri Filppula, as I said. He goes to the Islanders. So that's really the only big-name guy they lose. So players to watch. Really got to keep your eye on Sean Couturier this year. Man, his just was falling off every season. And last season, out of nowhere, he refines his game. And he had a hell of a season. Put up amazing numbers. Now, you got to watch him because, I mean, it's the moment of truth now. It's like, okay, was last year just a fluke? Or are you back for real? Can you consistently do this? Can you consistently score 30 goals a season for us? So you got to watch out for Couturier. Got to look out for Travis Konechny, another one of these young, quick, short, speedy guys in NHL who's just super fun to watch. He's so aggressive. He loves pissing guys off. I mean, I'm a diehard Penguins fan, but I love watching Travis Konechny. He's absolutely so fun to watch. I mean, he's just so little and quick. And just pisses guys off. He's a guy you'd love to have on your team, but you hate to play against. So, as a Penguins fan, I love watching Konechny. You got to watch out for him. And Jordan Wheel, too, guys. He was a big name guy that came over in that trade with the LA Kings a few years ago when the Kings acquired LeCavalier. And a lot of people in the Kings fan base were upset about it because of how highly scouted Jordan Wheel was. He hasn't really found his goal-scoring touch with the Flyers. I think this is a do-or-die year for him, so you got to watch out for Jordan Wheel, see what he can do. MVP is going to be Claude Giroux for me, guys. He looks like he's getting back in touch. Probably going to have a 100-point season, possibly. I mean, let's see. So some of the other stuff I said I want to talk about, obviously the thing fresh on everyone's mind still is this new mascot, Gritty. I don't know how I feel about it. He's very scary looking. I have some friends that went to a couple of preseason games and people were literally booing him. I heard kids were like crying when he was coming up to them because he's just scary looking. And now there's a story, a rumor. I don't know if it's true or not. At first I thought, this is a bit of a reach, but I don't know. Apparently the Flyers and the New York Rangers, for anyone who doesn't know, are the only two teams without a mascot in the NHL. So the NHL was pushing to apparently, this is all rumor, I don't know if it's true. This is just simply something I heard. Apparently, Gary Bettman and the NHL were pushing the Flyers like, hey, you guys don't need to get a mascot for PR and this and blah. We want every team to have a mascot. Flyers were like, no, we don't want a mascot. We never had that's not who we are. We don't like mascot. That's just not our identity. We haven't had one, blah, blah, blah. The NHL really pushed them, no, you need a mascot. So apparently Philadelphia was like, okay, fuck you, we'll make a mascot then. And they thought, let's make the shittiest, craziest looking mascot ever. I don't know if that's true or not. I really don't know. That's just a backstory. Who knows? I don't know. But yeah, it's a little interesting. This Gritty guy, if you haven't seen him, just look him up. I'm sure if you just type in Gritty on Google, you'll see it. It's creepy. It's definitely something. It's something for sure. Another thing I want to talk about is this thing that came out a couple days ago, maybe a week ago, about Jori Lehtera. Guys, Jori Lehtera is apparently a forward for the Flyers. It's apparently being investigated with the possibility of being involved in a cocaine drug ring in his hometown of Finland. We don't know if this is true or not. Apparently, it's under investigation with the Finnish police. So I don't know. That's just something going on with the Flyers. The Flyers, I don't know if they've made any statement on it yet or not. So we'll see what happens with that. Just maybe something to keep your ear out for. So let's move on, guys. Let's talk about the Washington Capitals, obviously defending Stanley Cup champs, their first Stanley Cup in franchise history. They're looking to have another good season, maybe go back-to-back. They do lose Grubauer, their longtime backup goalie, who it could very well be a starter somewhere, in my opinion. He goes to Colorado. Maybe he could be the starter there. They lose another veteran guy that's been with them for a long time, Jay Beagle. He goes to Vancouver. Some players to watch for me. Christian Juice, defenseman. Devontae Smith-Pelly, who did very well in the playoffs for them. Guys, was a key player in the playoff run for them and the Stanley Cup run for them. And Jacob Verana, another young forward who has worked his way up from the minors and I think could provide a nice goal-scoring touch to that team. MVP for me is going to be Nicholas Backstrom. Not Ovechkin, I'm sorry. But Nicholas Backstrom, I just overall think will be the MVP for the Capitals this year. I just think he does all around everything that you could ever ask for a hockey player to do, and he really does. So let's move on, guys. The Pittsburgh Penguins, my Pittsburgh Penguins. Tough season, obviously. I mean, they come off losing. Came into this past season, fresh off of 2 straight Stanley Cups. They lose in the second round against the Capitals, so I mean, you can't be too mad about it. It's not every day you get to see your team win back-to-back Stanley Cups, so I'm forever grateful for that. But it did leave a bitter taste in your mouth losing to our rival, the Capitals. But they do lose Connor Sheary. They trade him to the Buffalo Sabres, a young guy that's been a part of the Stanley Cup teams, a fan favorite. But he did start declining a little bit. They trade him and Matt Holmwick to the Buffalo Sabres. They also lose young guys in Carter Rowney and Tom Kuhnhackl, also 2 young guys along with Sheary that really brought a lot to the table in those 2 Stanley Cup runs for the Pittsburgh Penguins. But they go get Matt Cullen. They bring him back. The 41-year-old, I think he is now, but he's still playing at a good level. Still looks good. I'm hearing he's going to play on that 4th line as a winger. So glad to see him come back. They also get Jack Johnson. They signed Jack Johnson, who I think is very good for that defensive core of the Pittsburgh Penguins. They need a stay-at-home, big-body defenseman like that. And they also bring in Jimmy Hayes, another young guy who maybe looking to refine his game in Pittsburgh. Some players to watch for me. You got to watch out for Daniel Sprong and Zach Aston-Reese, 2 young forwards who are, I mean, future franchise players for this Pittsburgh Penguins team. Talking about after Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin and all them leave. Zach Aston-Reese did get recently reassigned to the AHL in Wilkes-Barre Scranton. He is coming off of a tough injury, so he definitely will be back. This seems more like a rehab kind of thing. Like, I'll let him start the season there. But these are 2 guys who are dynamic goal scorers, who are just dynamic players. When you watch them play, they're those guys when you see them play, you're like, oh, these guys are going to do something big with their careers. Another guy to watch out for, defenseman Juuso Ricola. He's a guy that the Penguins signed. He's played in the Finnish League, I believe. And they signed him to a 1-year entry-level contract, and they were at first thinking he's probably going to play in the minors. They're going to scout him, see how he does, but he really impressed in the preseason and training camp, and he made the team for the opening night roster. So we'll see if he plays tomorrow in their opening night, or Thursday, whenever their opening night is. He may play, so watch out for him, guys. I mean, the talk is big about Juuso Ricola for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Apparently, he's been surprising a lot of people. MVP for me, obviously, Sidney Crosby. You can't go against Sidney Crosby in that aspect. So let's move on to the standings, guys. All right, so 8 through 1. Obviously, you know how this works by now. Let's start with number 8. Number 8, last place in the division for me, is going to be the New York Rangers, guys. They're just really falling apart. They need to they're a team that needs to rebuild, but they don't want to admit they have to rebuild, and that's the worst scenario to be in. You never want to be in that situation, because that's when they'll start getting rid of guys, not getting the right guys to rebuild, and so they finished 8th for me, guys, and let's move on to number 7. Number 7, 7th place for me is going to be the New York Islanders. Obviously, losing Tavares is a huge blow to that team, who already was struggling a lot. And they have some young talent, but no real experience there. And they do have some goalie issues, so we'll see what happens with that. But, yeah, Islanders finishing 7th for me, guys. 6th, I'm going to go with the Carolina Hurricanes. It's tough to put them there, but they really don't have the it factor there. They made some moves, but they don't have the secondary scoring, and they don't really have the like I said, the it factor to bring them all together to make a run. 5th place for me is the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, this sounds harsh, I know, putting them at 5th place after the good season they had last year, but my hot take right off, I'm going to go with my hot take right now and let you guys know. My hot take for this division is that for the second consecutive year, five teams in this division will make the playoffs. I think you get only 3 from the Atlantic, the top 3 teams, and I think you're going to get the 2 wildcards both from the Metro. That's why I have the Flyers at 5th. I think they'll have a very good season. I just think that these other teams are just a little better. I think the Flyers are going to have a season where if they were hypothetically in another division, they could be second place or third place. But because the Metro is so strong and so looks like a lot of these teams are going to get a lot of wins and a lot of points, that's why I'm putting them at 5th. So I still think a very good season from the Philadelphia Flyers. Don't get me wrong there. The Devils, I'm going to have them at 4th. They look very good. They do need secondary scoring to succeed. They have the ability to have it. We'll see if they can get that. That's the it factor for me with the Devils. So I have them at 4th. 3rd, I have the Columbus Blue Jackets. Very good offense. The D may have a little bit of trouble, but I think they have enough there to solidify themselves. I mean, if Bobrovsky can play well throughout the entire season, I mean, they really got all the pieces there, guys, to possibly make a deep run into the playoffs. We'll see. Second place, the Pittsburgh Penguins. They're going to have a great season, guys. They're just stacked offensively. Defense troubled them a little bit last year. I think they shored that up by signing Jack Johnson, bringing in this young guy, Vercola, who looks like he's going to have a good season. But the biggest thing for the Penguins is they need Matt Murray to step up. Struggled a little bit last year in his first full season, basically without Fleury there. Kind of not 50-50 split in time, but yeah, so we'll see. But I still think Penguins finish second division. Obviously, first, the Washington Capitals. I don't think they'll be hungover from the Stanley Cup. I just think they're a great team, and I think they'll get first place to division again, guys. They're just all around a great team. You really, no explanations needed for that. So that's the Atlantic Metropolitan Division, guys, and that's it for the NHL season preview. So feel free to watch all 4 videos. Let me know what you think about my predictions, about anything, maybe some of your guys' predictions. Season starts tomorrow. Just like, comment if you're super excited about it, like I am. I'm super pumped up for it, guys. I love hockey. Been a hockey fan my entire life. Been a hockey player all my life. I love hockey. I'm a diehard hockey fan, so I'm super excited about it. So yeah, let's get it, guys. Big season. Love NHL hockey. Like, comment, and subscribe to the page. Check out the page on Twitter at IMB Sports. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks in addition. If you watched all the videos, let me know how you thought I did it. If you thought the format did as well and whatnot. So thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for watching. Hockey's back, so let's go.